on Indian polity for OCS examinations. We have already completed the chapter State Executive, Governors, Chief Ministers, and Council of Ministers, and Advocate General of the state. We have seen a lot of things about them, governors, chief ministers. So similar pattern of government is established at the state level. So we have also discussed various powers of the governors and the chief ministers also, and the council of ministers. Okay. Now we will discuss the questions on state executive, various questions that came in the previous year papers. Okay. So before that, just let me tell you a few lines about the position of governor. It has been most controversial aspect of governor. The dual role of the governor is the bone of contention. The governor exercises his constitutional duties as the de jure head of the state. But apart from being the state constitutional head, he is also a representative of the center. He is appointed by the president. His removal and his conditions of service are maintained by the central government. So during the past 7 decades of the functioning of parliamentary democracy in India, it is seen that governor's office has been mostly misused, and by several governors they lean towards or bend towards the center and uses their power in favor of the center, much against the interest of the state. There have been many misuse cases of the Article 356, and there have been also many uses of cases by discretionary power by the governor, and even removing the elected government and declaring election, and there has been a president's rule imposed on the report of the governor without any valid reason. So most of the things have been there. The powers of the governor have been not been in favor of the state, rather they are in favor of the centers. So in the arena of center-state relations, the governor's office has not contributed a lot towards strengthening the center-state relations. Rather, it has contributed towards embittering or polluting that relationship. Okay, so most of the governors openly favors the central government, and even some of them have talked. Their voice shows a partisan tone. So that are there. So you can see we don't have time to discuss on that every aspect of the government. We will discuss it towards the end of the constitutional part. The issues of constitution, the issues of parliamentary government in India, we shall take a special class on that. But for the timing, remember that nothing has been decent, or something has not been decent with the office of the governor. There has been much criticized. They have been criticized, and also they have been sometimes they have been also come into the debate, and many states averse the role of the governor. Many states have protested the role of the governor. Recently the role of the governor in the West Bengal and in Maharashtra, and also before some years in Karnataka also. The role of the governor of Manipur and other states also have not been satisfactory and have not been state friendly. But what is the reason why the governor uses his power not in favor of the state but in favor of the center, and why doesn't the governor acts as a constitutional bridge between the center and states, which is expected, or which was expected? There are certain institutional reasons or constitutional reasons, you can say, because the governor, though is the constitutional head of the state, but still he is appointed by the center. And another thing, the governor holds office during the pleasure of the president. So his appointment, removal are the sole discretion of the center. So governor, in order to protect his office or in order to protect himself from the anger of the center, does something, might be under compulsion. So there is a time or there is a need for restructuring or revamping the gubernatorial office. The governor should be appointed by the president on the recommendation of a special committee. That should also be provided in Article 155, needs to be amended. The governor should be appointed not at the discretion of the Prime Minister, but also but on the basis of the recommendation of a committee appointed by the center. But there should be some members from the state also in which the governor is going to be appointed. So there should be some portion of some percentage of independence should be added to the gubernatorial office by providing a structural appointment system and also removal system. That is, governor should not hold office during the pleasure of the president. That is the only point, or that is the only you can say Achilles heel in the weakness in the constitutional system, which probably makes the governor to act in favor of the center blindly. So governor should not hold office during the pleasure of the president. He should be removed by as many commissions, including Punchi commissions and Rajmanur commissions also. They have recommended that governor should be removed by a resolution passed in the state legislature through special majority. But that has not been implemented. So that is also a fault to be remembered. Okay, so these are the various factors, and also there is no security of tenure because the governor holds pleasure. So lack of security of tenure is also a factor which compels or which forces or you can say inspires the governor to act in favor of the center or to give more preference to center, not to the states. Okay, so there are a lot of things you must have been reading in newspapers and others journals also, that how governors are acting day by day and how their roles are becoming controversial day by day. So time has arrived for the revamping or restructuring the gubernatorial office. So please have a mind on that and collect as much information as possible in relation to the gubernatorial office. Okay, so this is all things you have to collect, all these things, and also compile a note on the role or the efficacy of the role of the governor. Give some relevant examples of the current development, like the manner of acting of the West Bengal governor Jagdish Dhankar, who is now the Honorable Vice President of India, when he was the governor before his stint as Vice President in West Bengal, and also the role of governor of Manipur and Rajasthan, and also in the recent past in the Maharashtra, and also a few years ago in Karnataka, where the ruling party was toppled without asking him to prove the majority, and that was the reason why the governor's election has been controversial. And also frequent misuse of the powers of 356 earlier before SR Bomai case 1994. So there have been a lot of cases, allegations against the gubernatorial office, and even some states averse to have a governor at the state at all. But whatever may be, the role of the governor or the office of the governor is as essential as the office of other constitutional offices. So it is not that it is an optional office or it is not a forced office. Rather, it is a natural office or a necessary office in the parliamentary form of government. One should understand his role and his efficacy also. So he is not a redundant office. Rather, he is a very essential office, a necessary office in the parliamentary form of government, because for the realization of parliamentary government at the state level, governor should be there. So there is only a need for restructuring or revamping the gubernatorial office. Okay, so friends, you must take a note on all these things and also collect information regarding the efficacy of the governor's office. Okay, now come to the state executive questions that are mentioned. So look at the first question. So just let me shorten it. Okay. So that is there. So what is the question first? Which of the following are discretionary powers given to the governor? Sending report to the President of India for imposing the President's rule, and that is there, sending report to the President of India for imposing President's rule, that is a discretionary power under Article 356. Appointing the ministers is not a discretionary power because governor has to appoint those persons as ministers who are recommended by the President, recommended by the Prime Minister. Reserving certain bills by the state legislature for consideration of the President, yes, it is a discretionary power, Article 200, we have discussed it. And making the rules to conduct business of the state governments, that is not a discretionary because it is in consultation with the chief ministers. So there are 1 and 3 are the answer. That is which of the following are discretionary power? Yes, 1 and 3 are discretionary, and 2 and 4 are not discretionary powers. Is that clear? Can you take a note of that? So friends, that is answer is B. Now come to the second question. Okay, second question of the things. Okay. So second question. Which of the following statement is correct? In India, the same person cannot be appointed as governor for 2 or more states. It can be appointed. We have discussed that by 7th Amendment Act 1956. It is provided that the President can appoint the same person as the governor of 2 or more states. So that is mentioned in cannot, so incorrect. Judges of the High Court of the state are appointed by the governor of the state just as the judges of Supreme Court are appointed by the President. No. The judges of High Court also are appointed by the President. Okay. Under Article 214, the judges are also appointed by the High Court's judges are also appointed by the President. No provision has been laid down in the Constitution for removal of a governor from, yes, that is the things that I was telling. No provision has been mentioned in the Constitution of India for the removal of the governor. Hence, he holds office during the pleasure of the governor. That is the reason why I say. So that is correct. In case of Union Territory having legislative setup, Chief Ministers is appointed by the Lieutenant Governor on the basis of majority support. No. The Chief Ministers are appointed by the President, not the Lieutenant Governor. So here option C is correct. Option C is correct. Okay. So C means C is not incorrect. So C is the answer. Other provisions are not correct in the Indian context. Okay. Is that clear? Now we shall come to the question 3. Consider the following statements regarding the executive powers of the governor. The Council of Ministers of State holds office during the pleasure of the governor. Yes, they hold office during the pleasure of the governor. That is correct. So that is correct. They are individually responsible to the pleasure. Governor can remove them. However, the members of State Public Service Commissions cannot be removed by the governor. Yes. Okay. So that is also correct. The members of the State Public Service Commission, though appointed by the governor, but removed by the President. So they are not appointed by the governor. They are removed by the President in the same manner as UPSC chairperson and members are removed. So both are correct. Powers of the state politicians cannot be removed by the governor. Yes. But the ministers can be removed. That is called during the pleasure. So both 1 and 2 are correct. So kindly take a note of this. Okay. Next question. In which of the following constitutional cases the Supreme Court held that whenever a doubt arises whether a ministry has lost the confidence of the House, the only way of testing is on the floor of the House? That is S.R. Bomai case, Union of India 1994. S.R. Bomai case was erupted in 1994 when the S.R. Bomai government, which had comfortable majority in the Karnataka Assembly, was removed or was sacked by the governor without any valid reasons. So that was why in that case Supreme Court held that any idea, any perception or any conclusion whether the ruling party has required majority in the Vidhan Sabha or not, it should not be the discretion of the governor, should not be the sole judgment of the governor. Rather, the state assembly or the floor of the state should be there, and the members of the assembly is competent to prove whether the ruling party has got majority, required majority or not. So that is what in that house. So it put a check on the misuse of Article 356 by the governors. So sometimes governors removes the state government even if the ruling party has desirable majority or required majority in the Vidhan Sabha. So that is much against the constitution. That is much against the constitution because the center has some hidden agenda behind the removal. So governor acting in favor of the center removes the state government without any valid reasons. So that is a gross violation of the constitution. Hence in S.R. Bomai versus State of Karnataka, that is S.R. Bomai versus Union of India case, the Supreme Court held that whenever a doubt arises whether a ministry, state government, has lost the confidence of the House or not, the only way of testing is on the floor of those. That means it should not be the decision of the sole decision of the governor. So that is S.R. Bomai case 1994, S.R. Bomai case 1994, that was made that. This answer is C. Very important, kindly take a note of this. All right. Now number 5. Consider the following statement. Okay, consider the following statements. Answer is given, but let us see whether it is right answer or not. Consider the following. Advocate General has the right to speak. Advocate General has the right to speak and to take part in the proceedings, but no right to vote in the House of the State Legislature of the state, right? Article 165. Advocate General is appointed by the Chief Minister? No. He is appointed by the Governor. No appointment is made directly by the Chief Minister. Every answer is virtually done by the Governor. But yes, it is done the advice of the Chief Ministers. So only one is correct. Yes, A is correct. Kindly take a note of this. Now we shall come to articles, that is question 6. Okay. Which of the following about the governor of a state in India is not correct? He is appointed by the president on the advice of the cabinet. Okay, let it be right. He is usually an outsider of the state. Yes. He can be reappointed for a maximum 3 terms. No. He can be reappointed for any term. There is no mention about that. Probably Article 157 talks about the term, and governor has not that key. He will not be reappointed. He will be reappointed several times together. There is no restriction on his appointment for many terms. Then he holds office during the pleasure of the president. That's correct. So answer will be C. The first CM of Odisha after general election was Navakrishna Chaudhary in 1952. But before that, Dr. Harikrishna Mahatab was, H.K. Mahatab was the Chief Minister of Odisha. He was the first Chief Minister of Odisha after independence. But remember, after general election 1952, Navakrishna Chaudhary became the first elected Chief Minister. After election, he became the Chief Minister of Odisha. Okay, which of the following incorrect regarding the governor of a state? Question number 8. No money bill can be introduced in the state legislature. No money bill can be introduced in the state legislature without his prior permission, like the president also. He has the power of issuing ordinance when the legislature is not in session, right? The governor assumes power of the state during national emergency. That is not correct. That is not correct. It's incorrect, Pachaj. So, during national emergency, nothing happens to the governor because the state government is not dissolved. National emergency is not imposed against the state government or the chief minister. Rather, it is for the interest of the nation as a whole. So, during national emergency, the state government continues in power. The state legislature is not dissolved. So, governor remains governor. Okay. So, there is no such power assumption by the governor during national emergency, but yes, during president's rule, or you can say during state emergency, the governor takes over as the de facto sovereign ruler of the state. So, answer will be C. Answer will be C at 6. Answer number 8. Number 8. Answer will be C. Okay. So, kindly take a look at the 3 questions. Okay, so 6, 7, 8 over. It is C, and it is also C. Question number 9. Who among the following became the Prime Minister of India without being earlier the Chief Minister of the states? We have probably discussed that there were several chief ministers who became the governors of the state, a Prime Minister of India. Okay, so there were Morarji Desai, Charan Singh, and there were also VP Singh and SD Devagowda and your PV Narasimha Rao, then your Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So all of them were once upon a time Chief Minister of a state in India. So Morarji Desai was there, Charan Singh was there, VP Singh was there, Chandrasekhar was not there, PV Narasimha was there. So only 4. The chief minister of a state must be a member of which house? Either house of state legislature. There is no restriction for the chief ministers becoming the member of state legislature. We have discussed there are several chief ministers have been from state legislative council. So that is your C.V. Gupta and V.P. Mandar, isn't it? And there have been also Moraji Desai, C. Rajgopalchari, and recently the Akhilesh Jadhav, Uddhav Thackeray. So they were from upper houses. So chief minister can be appointed or can be selected not only from Vidhan Sabha but also from the legislative councils where the state legislature is bicameral. Okay. Number 11. Number 11. Which of the following is correct about the chief minister? Correct about the chief minister. He is the chairman of the state planning board, yes. He announces the policy of the state government, yes. He is the chief spokesman of the government, yes. So all of these are correct. All of these are correct. Okay, just a minute. All of these are correct. So D. He is the chief spokesman, he is the first spokesman of the government. 12. The Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to Legislative Assembly. Under Article 164 of the Constitution it is stated, the Council of Ministers along with the or headed by the Prime Minister shall be collectively responsible to the State Legislative Assembly. State Legislative Assembly can pass a no confidence motion to remove the government. No confidence motion cannot be moved in the Vidhan Parishad. So that is A. Money bills can be introduced in the state legislature with the prior consent of President. Governor. State legislature. So that for it is governor. Okay, now we shall move to question number 14. Which of the following statement is correct? The governor can refuse to give his assent to a bill, yes. Governor can reserve the bill for the consideration of the President, yes, under Article 200. Governor may refuse to invite a leader of the party in Vidhan Sabha who does not command the majority in the House, yes. Governor may dismiss the Speaker of Vidhan Sabha. No. Speaker of Vidhan Sabha is removed by the House itself with an effective majority. So that is a wrong point. The Governor may dismiss the Speaker. No, he cannot dismiss the Speaker. The Speaker is elected by the Vidhan Sabha and also it will be removed by the Vidhan Sabha when a resolution for the removal of the Speaker is approved by the Vidhan Sabha in effective majority. So that is the reason of taking. If a chief minister dies suddenly, what happens immediately thereafter? That government council of ministers automatically resigns. Then the governor will take the best course of action for the state. Who among the following is the ex officio member of the interstate council? Chief minister. Sorry, that is C. C. The Council of Ministers is individual responsible to govern. Article 164. They are individual responsible, means they can be removed, they can be sacked. Okay, they can be sacked by the governor. Okay, but chief ministers cannot be removed by the governor as long as his ruling party commands majority in the Vidhan Sabha. Okay, now question number 8, please take a note of this. Okay. Okay, question number 18. What is the rank of the governor within the state? That is 4th rank within the state. Outside the state it goes to 8 also. Who among the following has the power to prorogue the state legislature? The governor of the state summons and prorogues the state legislature. Which of the following is correct regarding the governor of state? As of now, governor gets immunity to 3,50,000, enjoys office during the pleasure of the president, all the above. The governor of a state is appointed. 155 of the constitution deals with the appointment of the governor. The governor of the state is appointed, not elected rather. Not elected rather, he is appointed. Alright? So that is the things of the point. Who administers oath to the governor? The Chief Justice of the High Court, B. Who among the following not a disqualification of the governor? Qualification. He must be a citizen of India, qualified to be a member of state legislature. Age should be 35, should not hold any office of profit. So, qualified to be a state legislature is not there. So, B is the answer. Kindly take a note of this. Okay, so 23. Which article contains the ordinance making power of the president? Obviously 123, 213 of the Constitution. 213. C. The appointment of chief minister is a power of the governor. It is an executive power. Which of the following appointment is not done by the governor? Appointment of CM, appointment of chairman of state publisher, appointment of judges of High Court. That is the answer. The judges of High Court, as I told you, are appointed by the president on the recommendation of a collegium also. So that is not there. Who takes the charge of the governor when his office was vacant? The Chief Justice of the High Court. To whom the governor tenders his resignation? The president. When a governor of a state takes additional charge of other state, the salary will be What is same salary but shared among the state as determined by the president. So D. The salary and allowances of the governor are charged upon the consolidated fund of the state. But remember, governor is not allowed to or not entitled to any post-retirement benefits like pension and others. That is also a lacuna in the gubernatorial office. So please take a note of this. The governors of a state, the disqualification of member of state legislature shall be decided by the whom? The governor in consultation with the Election Commission of India. Remember. The chief minister of a state where a legislative assembly exists is appropriate, is appointed by the governor, by the president, by the president. Kindly take a note of this. Okay, question number 33. The chief minister, okay, by which amendment act it has been that person can be appointed as the governor? By 7th amendment, 1956. By 7th amendment, 1956, it is provided that the same person can be appointed as the governor of the state. The chief minister of a state must be a member of which house? Either house. Who among the following is not correct about chief minister? Is the state planning board? Yeah, the council of ministers is collectively responsible to, that is, collectively responsible to Vidhan Sabha. Money bill can be introduced in the state legislature without the prior consent of the state legislature by the governor. Okay? So that is the things about 37. Now it shall come to 38. Which of the following statement is incorrect? The governor can refuse to give his assent. So answer is yes, we have already discussed, the question is repeated. If chief minister dies suddenly, then the council of ministers resigns. Who among the following is the ex-officio chairperson of interested council? The chief minister of the state. The council of ministers is individually recognized responsible to governor, which is the mark of the rank of the governor in the state. Fourth, we have already discussed. Who among the following is the power to prorogue and state legislature? That is governor. Okay, so it is here questions are repeated, so we are not taking any decision. Which of the following correct regarding the governor of a state? I think it's all correct. Which of the following is incorrect regarding the governor of a state? No money bill can be introduced in either visit president. Yes, he has the power to issue ordinance. Yes, governor has his power during the national emergency. Wrong. Same question I think repeated. But anyway, there are some valid questions in it. So kindly do practice. Okay, so we have finished this part. We have finished this part, so we'll come to state legislature. Okay, so at the end of the chapter, we have come to the end of the chapter of state executive. I hope that all of you are getting some fundamental ideas regarding the executive pattern in the state level. Okay, and we have also discussed various dignitaries. Now we shall put focus on the state legislature. The state legislature is confined between 168 to 212. And 161, 168 talks about the composition of state legislature. According to 168, the state legislature shall comprise not only Vidhan Sabha but also the governor, Vidhan Parishad but also the governor. So state legislature consists of one or two houses and governor is a must. So that is a constitutional provisions for this purpose. Okay. So state legislature is mentioned in part VI. Okay. So you can write a bicameral state legislature comprises SLA, State Legislative Assembly, SLC, State Legislative Council, number 3, the governor. ना blue. चलो ऐसा चलिए मुझे कोटा Okay, so we shall discuss state legislative assembly composition. This is provided in Article 171. The maximum strength according to the Constitution, 170, sorry, 1 minute, 170. Maximum strength is 500. Maximum strength of Vidhan Sabha is 500. That means no state legislative assembly can exceed beyond 500. Minimum strength is 60. So maximum strength of state legislative assembly is 500 and minimum strength of the state legislative assembly is 60. Alright? But there are certain exceptions for certain states. Exceptions like Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Goa, it is 30. That means the minimum strength of Goa or Arunachal Pradesh should not be less than 30. Sorry. In case of Mizoram, it is 40, and in case of Nagaland, it is 46. The Constitution defines but limits the strength of different Vidhan Sabha. Most of the states should have should not have less than 60 seats. But in case of Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Mizoram and Nagaland, the strength should be not less than all these figures. In case of Mizoram it is 40, in case of Nagaland it is 46, in case of Goa it is 30, and in case of Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim it is also 30. But they can have more seats than them, but not less than this. Alright? This is the composition. And who decides the composition of the state legislature? The parliament will decide the composition of the state legislature. Any increase of the state legislature shall be done by them. Okay, that is called state legislature, Vidhan Sabha. Okay, next. The procedure, election. Most of the members of state legislature are appointed sorry, are elected by the voters of the states of the state concerned. Any person whose name is registered in the electoral roll of the state elections. There is no separate state election commission to conduct the elections. Only the election commission conducts the elections to that. And as there is election, so there is a territorial representation in states. There is territorial representation. There is territorial representation in the state legislative assembly. I mean, the entire geographical territory of the state is divided into several electoral constituencies, and which are determined by the Delimitation Commission of India and approved by the Election Commission of India. So like Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha has also territorial representation. Okay? So territorial representation is found in two chambers, like Vidhan Sabha and Lok Sabha. Okay? As there is territorial representation of the state, hence there is reservation for SC and ST in accordance with the preference of their state. By in accordance with their population, there is reservation for SC and ST. We shall discuss that how many seats are reserved for how many states have reservation for SC and how many states have reservation for ST. But remember, there is no reservation for other categories in the state legislative assembly, and such reservation means the reservation for SC and ST is provided. SC and ST in the Vidhan Sabha is provided under Article 332 of the Constitution, and it is regulated by the Parliament through the Constitutional Amendment Act, and this reservation now valid till 2030, as it has been extended by 104 Constitutional Amendment Act 2020. Okay? So reservation is a constitutional provision, but it is regulated by the Parliament. It is inscribed in the Constitution as a temporary provision. So from time to time, Parliament keeps on extending it. And now in the recent Amendment 104 Constitutional Amendment Act 2020, Parliament has extended or increased the limit of reservation in Vidhan Sabha and Lok Sabha until 2030. So that is also a point to be remembered, and that is territorial representation. Remember, the size of the electoral constituency is determined by the Delimitation Commission with the approval of the election law. Apart from the election of the state legislature assembly, some members may be nominated also. For example, under Article 333, the Parliament or the President, the Governor, enjoyed the authority to nominate one Anglo-Indian member to the Vidhan Sabha if, in his opinion, such community is not properly, adequately represented. But this provision has been done away with, has been abolished by 104 Constitutional Amendment Act 2020. So there is no such provision for nomination, but still some Vidhan Sabha have provision for nomination of some members, like in Sikkim, 2 primitive tribal members are nominated to Vidhan Sabha. In Jammu Kashmir also there was provision for nomination of women members. So some legislature may provided on certain special grounds nomination, but there is no general nomination that was there in 333, but it has been abolished. Okay, so this is the composition of state legislature. We have discussed it, and as you have seen, it is mentioned in Article 370. Article 370 states about 170 state about the composition, and it is one of the prominent house in the organization, in the state legislature. Okay. Another thing that the readjustment of the seat in the center, in the state, is also the responsibility of the center. Okay. So this is all about, and we shall discuss also. Remember that there is reservation for SC and ST in the Vidhan Sabha. Okay. Now, State Legislative Council. It is 171. Okay, 171 deals with the composition of the State Legislative Council. The State Legislative Council is called the upper chamber. The Vidhan Sabha is called the lower house, or the, you can say, house of the people also. It is the first chamber and is the popular house. But Vidhan Parishad is the second chamber, is the house of elderly and house of, you can say, house of elderly, and it is the Vidhan Parishad, like the Council of States at the center. But as we have already discussed that all states do not have bicameral setup, so all states do not have State Legislative Council. But there is a provision that the state may form or may intend to have a second chamber. Okay, we'll discuss after this what are the rationale behind a second chamber in the Indian context. Okay, what is the need for a second chamber? But let us before discuss what is the strength, maximum strength of Vidhan Parishad. Maximum strength of the Vidhan Parishad shall not exceed 1/3 of the total strength of Vidhan Sabha. Before 7th Amendment Act 1946, it was 1/4, but now it was reduced, it was increased to 1/3 of the total strength of Vidhan Sabha. That means always the strength of the second chamber shall be less than the first chamber. It is 1/3 of the total strength of Vidhan Sabha, not more than that. Minimum strength is 40. Minimum strength is 40. That means the strength of a Vidhan Parishad shall not be less than 40 in any circumstances. But who decides the strength? Although to have a second chamber is the initiation of the state, but finally it is approved by the parliament. So parliament approves the things and parliament brings changes in the things. The state legislature will pass a resolution with that regard, specify the number of seats also, but it is the parliament which makes the ultimate decision regarding that. So any question you come across that who decides the strength of Vidhan Parishad, it is the parliament. And it is now 1/3 and less than 40. Okay? Then Vidhan Parishad, let me clear you. Vidhan Parishad is composed of both elected and nominated members. Vidhan Parishad is composed of both elected and nominated members. You can say 5/6 members of Vidhan Sabha, 5/6 members are elected, 1/6 members are nominated. Okay, 1/6 they are nominated. What I mean to say you, this provision is provided to give wider representation in the society. Vidhan Parishad has a veritable composition. A substantial number of members are nominated by the governor. Okay? So this is the provision of nomination, and 5/6 are elected and 1/6 are nominated by the governor of the state. Then election to SLC. Election to SLC. First of all, it is an indirect election on the basis of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. The members are elected, not by the people directly. So that is, first of all, we have to keep in mind it is indirect election. Number one, 1/3, how it is by 1/3 are 1/3 members are elected by the elected members of panchayats and municipalities from amongst themselves. One-third members by the members of panchayats, municipality from amongst themselves, not outsiders. Number 2, 1/3 are elected by the MLAs of the state, members of Legislative Assembly of the state also elect some members from outside. Number 3, 1/12 are by graduates having 3-year standing in the state, they are elected. And number 4, 1/12 are elected by teachers of above secondary level. So that you can see different categories of people are elected to Vidhan Parishad. One is by local bodies, so that local representations are there. One is by the MLAs, so they can provide the better grievances. And 1/3 by teachers and another by graduates. So this is how it is by 5/6. 5/6 are elected. Okay? So kindly take a note of this. Okay. Now 1/6 members are nominated by governor from amongst persons having wide experience and practical knowledge practical knowledge in arts, science, literature, social service, and so kindly remember the members of the state legislative council, some of the members like 1/6 members are nominated by the governor from amongst the eminent persons who have earned name and fame in different fields like arts, science, literature, social service and cooperative movement. If you remember about the nomination of president under Article 80 to Rajya Sabha, There are also certain fields mentioned from which field the president nominates persons, 12 persons. That was arts, science, literature and social service only. But here one aspect is added, that is cooperative movement. So 1/6 is 1/6 are nominated to Vidhan Parishad by the governor. So as you can see, the state legislative council is a body with wider representation. It provides representation to different sections of the society who might be otherwise underrepresented. So there is a pious goal or a positive goal behind having a state legislative council, and it is one of the fundamental reasons why second chamber is established, to provide wider representation. But if you look at the other aspects of the house, it is not at all comparable with Rajya Sabha. First of all, we can say that the Vidhan Parishad is not a uniform or a compulsory provision in the states, and its optional nature is also its weakness, because it can be maybe abolished or created by the state legislature, ultimately by the parliament, and it is not endowed with many substantial powers like the Rajya Sabha. Even it doesn't have substantial powers over the passage of ordinary bills. So there are a lot of things you can see that makes you feel that this house is a redundant one. It is only established to provide to satisfy the political dissent in the state, and the ruling party tries to subdue the growing dissents or growing animosity among the dissatisfaction among the party members. So that is the only ploy, that is the only the reason that is open behind the creation. But yes, there is a need for a second chamber in the state level, because Vidhan Sabha is a political house, and the election, they are represented through election. So a few people are capable of canvassing in the election, contesting in the elections. So if Vidhan Sabha becomes a indirect house, there will be different representation from different sections of the society, from the different corners of the society. So there is a need, but there is a need for restructuring the Vidhan Parishad. If we really intend to have a second chamber, we must arm it with required power and a suitable structure to make it at least a required house at the state level. Okay, so all these things you can discuss while writing the efficacy of the second chamber. Okay, so when there is a question regarding the efficacy of the second chamber, or there is a need for a second chamber, yes, there is a need because of the wider representation, because it will provide larger view for the governance. It will also influence the decision making and the policy making process in the state, and will add popular element to the decision making process. It will also check the hasty legislation enacted by the Vidhan Parishad. It will act a major deterrent to undemocratic governance in the country. So there are various valid reasons why we should have a second chamber. But the present position of second chamber in the corridors of the Constitution is not suitable enough for democracy or for functioning of these purposes. So if we really want a second chamber in the state, we should first restructure, revamp the constitutional provisions related to second chamber, and also should make it a compulsory phenomenon at the state level. So having a second chamber in each state will do lot of benefits to the governance process. So in my mind, second chamber is essential, but with a new incarnation. All right? So let me tell you on these things. We shall discuss the Article 169, which deals with the abolition and the creation of second chamber in the next class. Okay, so let me finish today's topic in this class. I shall be back the next class with the same chapter, and we will review various things related to state legislature. Okay, so always try to comprehend the concept, because civil service is all about comprehension, basic nurturing of basic ideas. So you need to understand everything, and also you need to simplify everything in your own language, so that you will be capable of writing good answer. So always try to grasp the things that are taught to you. Okay, that will help you a lot, and that will make you write good answers. All right? So this is the things we shall be focusing on other aspects of state legislative councils in the next class. For the time being, let me bid you goodbye, and see you in the next class. Okay? Thank you very much to all of you.